up nicely. It's the Drew and Fuse Show. The Drew and Fuse Show. The Drew and Fuse Show. Yeah, they clean up nicely. Yeah.
We're live. Welcome back to the Drew and Fuse Show. We've got some fun people here with us today.
Two of our favorite DJs, two of my favorite DJs, and we're talking music. You guys,
butt mites
and butt mites.
you guys.
I don't even think that's a real. I don't think that's a real scientific term. I think that was as neologists, you know, people who invent words and phrases.
Graham invented the phrase "butt mite."
I might.
Oh man, we've got a lot of stuff that we wanted to talk about here with you guys today. But first off, we can just start it with, you know, how are you guys? Is everything good?
I mean, you know, all things considered, sure, chilling. You know, we're working on what we're here to talk about.
Sirius XM, you're doing all Yacht Rock. It's what's the name of that channel?
Yacht Rock Radio.
Yacht Rock Radio.
Sirius XM channel 15. That's a seasonal channel, though. I think on the app it runs year round on one of the, you know, somewhere out in the ether. But during the summertime between Memorial Day and Labor Day, it runs as one of their seasonal channels, right? And it's 24 hours a day Yacht Rock playlist. It's a very popular channel when it is airing during that window. And what Stone and I do is we have a show on that channel called Club Yacht Rock, where we have taken Yacht Rock, but foisted a DJ approach to the music, you know, as if we were, you know, DJing Yacht Rock.
And for those of you who did not do well on your SATs, we just have a mix show on the Yacht Rock channel. That's all.
Yeah, just like many channels on Sirius, you know, if you listen to Rock the Bells or Shade 45 or Diplo, you know, they have mix shows, right? Globalization, they got mix shows. DJs come in and do a mix. So basically, we're just doing that, but on Yacht Rock Radio.
From you two guys, what's the mind process that goes into you know, a club yacht mix? I've heard some of them. You do mix in some of the samples that people have taken from some of them to, you know, bring it back and forth. But yeah, what's your process?
It's chaos. I mean, just shy of the camera here is my yellow legal pad with all the notes for this coming season. But you know, it's a collaborative effort. You know, we run ideas by each other. We demo stuff out. We're looking for clever mixes, something that keeps it interesting. And part of doing Club Yacht Rock is you don't want to stray too far from what the listeners of Yacht Rock Radio are used to. You know, you definitely want to remind them that something interesting is happening, something unique, something different. But you're not trying to ostracize the people who tune in to hear, you know, a Steely Dan song.
Yeah, so we stick to whatever the original song sounded like for the most part. We're not adding big booming drums or, you know, up-tempo remix of whatever song shouldn't have an up-tempo remix. We just give them the songs that they're familiar with, and we might deconstruct them and rebuild them to service the mix. Whether it's something that's in key or something that you know, lines up together, and then you're basically just listening to the same old songs in a new way.
If I can add to that, though, you know, Yacht Rock Radio has their playlist of songs, you know, and they have them categorized for the most part. You know, something like What a Fool Believes, that is something that just, you know, plays all the time. In these mixes, in addition to pulling from that pool, we try to do, we implement what we call Yacht Rock adjacent, you know, stuff that's in the pocket, but maybe not in their usual rotation, just to keep it interesting, maybe give people you know, a little surprise. So if you listen to mixes from last season, you'll see that we, you know, everything from like Bob James to Donald Byrd, Grateful Dead, anything that kind of has that slick, smooth vibe that you associate with what people now call yacht rock.
I've always been curious where that name even came about. Was it from one of the radio stations that just coined it?
He invented
So
it.
what's that?
He invented it.
Let's not do that. That's a bad soundbite. You know, so yeah, so in the 70s, this music that people now, you know, call yacht rock, there was no yacht rock artist. No one was making yacht rock, right?
Right.
They're making music, they're rock musicians. A lot of those bands had, you know, the top musicians from the studios like Toto and Steely Dan. That term is postmodern, I suppose you could say. It was created in the early 2000s, I think. I mean, here's the thing. I don't actually know where it came from. From what we can glean is that there was the Yacht Rock series from the early 2000s, I think even predating YouTube. And there's like maybe 12 episodes, and they kind of they're little sketches, and they choose a song and they kind of tell the story of how the song came about, but in kind of like a funny, campy manner, right? For all we know, that's where the term came from. But who knows? You'll have to ask Hollywood Steve from the Yacht Rock series if that's true or not. But for whatever reason, it you know, got legs, and now it's, you know, part of the lexicon.
Google says yacht rock was coined in 2005 by a group of comedians.
There you go. That's who I'm talking about. Hollywood Steve, and then the other dude that plays Michael McDonald in the series.
Yes, yeah, that's what it says. Yep. That's what
and
Google
you know,
says,
if you watch that HBO documentary that came out last year called Yacht Rock, a documentary, as in, you know, you've docked. They talk to those dudes.
I actually have to watch that. I don't know. I think I totally missed
Oh,
that.
it's
yeah,
pretty
check
good.
it
Yeah,
out.
it's
Is it?
really good. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, they you know, I feel like you could probably make a lengthier documentary. I get it. They have to get it down to bite size to keep it engaging, but you know, they did a great job with, you know, creating something that could appeal to everybody if you're interested in what yacht rock is, because now it's having a moment for the most part. You're seeing it referenced. It's like a buzzword, you know, like kind of like how mashup in 2005 everything became mashup and then open format, and now there's yacht rock, where, you know, Pharrell released a yacht rock record, or well, he calls it Black Yacht Rock. Black Yacht Rock. There's a tongue twister for you. And then even in these more recently, you know, Gwen Stefani has a record coming out, or a record came out, recent record, I don't know which it is, but in those interviews she's like, I was listening to a lot of yacht rock for influence. So it's having like a thing at the moment, though. You know, this is a lot of this is timeless music. It's not like somebody discovered something new. This stuff's been around.
Yeah, it's summer vibes. It's perfect.
Always.
It's not reggae R&B.
Ha. But there are some reggae. There's reggae tones. A lot of those songs, like, you know, Haitian Divorce by Steely Dan has a reggae vibe to it, or Dreadlock Holiday by 10cc. These are songs that get played on yacht rock radio. Definitely influenced by a reggae vibe. Maybe it's just an island vibe. Who knows? Again, it's not like somebody in the late 70s
You're
was
an
like, I make
island
yacht
boy. You're an island boy.
That is definitely not yacht rock.
What? They're close.
Oh,
They're really close.
So, would you say that primarily it's 70s and 80s, though?
Yeah, in fact, I think they put the parameter, though. There's some early 70s stuff that gets in there, and up until, you know, mid 80s, I suppose. Though, you know, there's plenty of like contemporary artists that are obviously influenced by that sound, because it's a sound. Again, it's not a genre that people were actively making, right? It's something that got it got categorized after the fact. So there's a lot of debate online about what is yacht rock and what is nyat rock. Um, and so for us, you know, and again, we are not the kingmakers here of what song is a yacht rock song and what isn't. But anything that has that vibe, anything that sounds like it would be, you know, appropriate when you're out on the water, you know, we try and work those in, you know.
Yeah, that's really our only qualification. If it's something that we would play on our sailboat while sailing the high seas, then it's, to us, it's yacht rock and it's appropriate for a mix. You know, there are some purists that would disagree with some of our choices, but at the end of the day, it's our mix show and our mixes, and I'm going to do what I want. When you have your own mix show, you can play whatever you want.
And not to mention, you know, some of the artists, they hate it.
Yeah.
They you know, if you watch the HBO documentary, like the last scene of the film is the director speaking with Donald Fagen on the phone, Donald Fagen from Steely Dan, and when Donald Fagen finds out what the documentary is about, his answer is "fuck off," and he hangs up. And you know, I was just listening to an interview with Daryl Hall on the whatever that Rick Rubin's podcast is, and same thing with him. He's like, that's a term, that's a joke. It's invented by a couple of jerk offs. That's a quote. You know, Boz Scaggs too. And I understand these are, when you think about Steely Dan, they were bringing the best musicians that were available to them at that time, right? And so serious music. But so for someone to later come along and say, well, now we're going to put you in this campy category,
Right.
I can understand people getting miffed. On the flip side of that, there's a lot of acts that maybe would not be heard as much as they would if not for yacht rock, right? It's enabled some bands to see some light because it's in this category. It's got that smooth, slick sound.
Right. I was just watching recently the Bee Gees had a documentary, and they talk about being in that era of Miami right before they came up with the Staying Alive soundtrack or the Saturday Night Fever soundtrack. And that's what they were influenced, was a lot of just like that island vibes and the cool, that early, before they went full disco, that was where a lot of their sounds were coming from.
I've seen this documentary. I think there's a lot of shared real estate in that music. Again, Bee Gees is one of those artists that, you know, again, online communities, is it yacht rock? Is it nyat? I think 9 times out of 10 it's nyat, though, you know, we did work in what did we work in last season, Stone? What is that song?
Love You Inside Out.
Yeah, you know, that sounds yacht rocky to me. And you know, I know on Yacht Rock Radio there's a couple of Andy Gibbs songs that make it in the regular rotation.
Right.
But no Lil Yachty.
Not as of yet.
If I can't have I'm an island boy, then Graham can't have Little Yachty.
You're giving that a lot of burn.
Yeah, it's fun. It's a fun song.
Another song I could think of right off the top was that Chris Norman "Stumbling In" from the Lakers, John C. Reilly redo they did.
It was called Winning Time.
Winning Time. There it is.
Winning Time.
That kind of got a boost from that movie. And
I don't know this song. What song is this?
It's called
Stumbling In.
Stumbling In. It even got a
cool
recent
song.
remix because it blew up after that show. But yeah, I mean, it fits the ethos, if you will.
By who? Who's the artist?
Chris Norman.
Oh yeah, I see this here. Oh,
Is it in the Yacht Rock Radio playlist?
I think it should be. If it's not, I think it would
I'm
totally
looking right
totally
now.
fit.
What's the
I have
guy's
it.
name?
Oh, I know
Stumbling
this
In.
song. I know this song. I have it in my Serato. I know this song. It's a great song.
Yeah, but I'm seeing. I want to see if it's in the rotation. What's it called?
Stumbling In.
with no G but an apostrophe.
Stum. No, well, yeah, there it is. Chris Norman. It's a Y2
Oh, why too? That means that it's in the mix.
mix.
It blew up right after that show, but I had never heard it, and it's a jam for sure.
Have you guys seen that show?
I have.
Of course.
Yeah.
No, it's a good one. I
Yeah,
enjoyed
Oh
it.
yeah.
I wish they would have had more than 2 seasons.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's Showtime. Showtime only lasted for so long. And when I say Showtime, I don't mean the cable channel. I'm talking about, Lakers Showtime.
Right.
You guys recently did a gig together. I think I saw on the internet. Atlantic City.
Yeah, it was loads of fun. We played at HQ2, and we hadn't been in Atlantic City in a long time, and we weren't sure what to expect. And they branded it a throwback night, which is appropriate. And people were there truly to enjoy throwback songs. I mean, we got some wild requests from some really young ladies that probably shouldn't have known about the songs that they were asking about.
What are some of the songs? Even the requests I get these days.
The one I remember, the one that stood out was Kenny Loggins' "Footloose." So that'll give you an idea of what was going on in Atlantic City on a Friday night when we were in the building. It was surprising that we were able to do what we wanted to do. It was surprising that the audience was receptive to it, and it was even more surprising that they participated in making songs. It wasn't like they were just sitting there tolerating whatever we were doing. They actually were engaging and enjoying themselves. So it was nice.
A lot of those theme nights, as you guys know, and probably listeners who are DJs know, they might start out with great intentions, and then you see it pivoting because, the novelty wears off. And so we went in completely prepared for the pivot, right? Because it's a big nightclub in Atlantic City. But pleasantly, we stuck with what we went in there to do, which was a lot of fun. Which was
That's
pretty much disco 80s and 90s, a little bit of early 2000s stuff.
It's dedicated to that. That night it's not just for you guys. That wasn't a random one-off.
It was a random one-up. I think they rotate out the DJs, but I think normal nightclub stuff happens there. They have a lot of that particular club. I see that they have a lot of big DJs coming in, big EDM DJs. But I think on the normal nights, they've got their residents and, they do nightclub stuff.
That's dope that they were able to get it out. I think that's the best way for a theme night to do, is just like a one-off that's promoted correctly.
I wish that more venues would do that, would stick to what it needs to be, promote it correctly, and then and not succumb to the pressure of, some asshole who wants to hear, "I'm an island boy," and spend a lot of money to hear the song. So, Graham, you really don't like that song.
It's not that. I just don't know why we're giving it so much attention.
Who cares? Is the MP3 even available? I don't think it's a real song.
I doubt it. It's a viral clip.
Yeah, who cares? Let me enjoy my Monday. I'm living in a real life nightmare, and I'm just trying to find a little bit of happiness.
The butt mites have moved into his brain.
You're probably not wrong.
Oh God, they're traveling.
Yeah.
Well, we always like talking, like deep dive into music. Maybe we could go over some of the shit that people could expect on this mix. And I just like seeing your guys' brain process on it. So if you are deconstructing a song, are you like stemming it out and then just like adding the parts you like? Are you looking for these edits? How are you going about doing that?
We don't use any edits. We pull the originals down at the highest quality we possibly can, and strip down whatever parts we think are necessary to get the mix off. All of it's pretty scrutinized on our part, mostly because we know we have to listen to it later. So if there's a lazy mix, it's gonna bother. I mean, going far back as Trabajo, right?
Yeah,
which is the CD we made in 2007. You listen to that now, I can't enjoy it, and Stone can't enjoy it either, because all we hear is the flaws or how something could be done better. So spent a lot of time not only curating the music but also executing it. The last season, I like listening to the mixes we did for last season. I'm excited for the mixes that we'll release this coming season.
Where do you listen to last season's mixes, Graham?
I was just gonna ask
on,
that.
on our Mixcloud page,
Beat me.
though, you might have to give them the address because this is not the kind of information I retain.
It's just mixcloud.com/thecaps.
How do you spell that?
Oh, let me tell you. It's THECAPTS.
Got it.
Yeah.
So you could you could also subscribe to it, because I know Mixcloud kind of shuts it down after three or four or five listens, right?
I'm unsure how any of this stuff works. I'm starting to age out of all technology.
Well,
That's very yacht rock of you.
Well, yeah. I mean, listen, I choose to live this life.
You got to be consumed by the things you love, huh?
Yeah. That's it.
But you mentioned the mix, and I want to point out that this coming season, which is 15 weeks.
Oh yeah,
starting
this is
Memorial
like
Day,
the most
Memorial Day
important part.
weekend. Yeah, we're bearing the lead here.
Yeah,
You're
you
doing
sure are.
15 different.
It's,
15
well, let me
different
tell
weeks?
you. So we
funny
have
you
15
ask.
weeks. It's 15 weeks between Memorial Day and Labor Day, and this season we are hosting every episode, and we've brought in guest DJs to
Ooh.
come in and do the mixes. And Stone and I will be doing obviously Memorial Day, which is the kicking it off, the launch, and we'll do 4th of July, and we'll do Labor Day to close it out. But in the meantime, I have to pull up a list here because I don't want to be the dude that forgets anybody's names. But you can hear we're bringing in these guest DJs. Here's the list if you're ready.
Hold
Angie V.
Hold on.
Oh,
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay. If we're ready, the list of DJs we've invited to come in and do guest mixes on Club Yacht Rock for season 2 this summer: Angie V, Conflict, Z Trip, Steve Shimmer, ROB, Jazzy Jeff, DJ Riz, DJ Excel and Mr. Sonny James, Fashion, Mark Ronson, Mona Lisa, Goldfinger. Those are the DJs we brought in to do season 2 with us.
That's
Wow.
amazing. Yeah,
That is cool.
So this
We are
is
very excited.
It's a full hour mix, and when do and you guys are hosting the guest mixes?
Yeah.
Yes. Well,
Awesome.
in addition to the mixes that we will do, but yes, we'll host the mixes, and you can expect a little bit of banter with these guest DJs, keeping it fun, keeping it captains. But just kind of like taking the reins off and letting these very talented and creative people do something with Yacht Rock.
I'm really looking forward to that. That sounds
me
sounds
too.
dope.
Me too.
I like that all the thought that goes into it. It's something that is missing from the DJ world these days.
The interesting thing in talking to all these DJs, when we first, broached the topic of doing it, was a lot of them were like, I've been waiting for the opportunity to do this. I've been looking for the outlet to do this. Because I think everybody enjoys this music, but it's not something that you can maybe work a song in or two, but to do something that is exclusively this and apply all your craft and knowledge and skills to this one thing, I think everybody was super excited to be involved with it.
That's cool.
I'm very excited to get it over with.
Yeah, how long has this been like going? Because to do it right, to just knowing you guys, it's got to be. Has to be started. It ended last year when this radio station came off, and you guys have been working this whole year on it, or at least
basically
brainstorming ideas.
The mixes. Unfortunately, the way our process to solve the puzzle of a mix, it takes. Truly, it takes hundreds of hours. And it's not because we don't know what we're doing. It's just every single second is scrutinized.
The bar is up here,
Yeah, and that's mostly for us to, as Graham said, we don't want to listen to it and be like, had we spent a little bit more time, this could have been better. Where I don't want to listen to it anymore. And then also there's a little bit of we don't want to leave anything for the motherfucking haters to hang their hat on, because there's a lot of them out there. So if we can get it, and this has always been the case with all of our mixes, if we can get it as tight as possible, then there really leaves nothing for anyone to say. Mostly us, we can't criticize it, but then no one else can criticize it either.
I don't want to meet that guy that had any bad things to say. I don't buy it.
Listen,
you guys always hold the bar pretty high already. So I mean, I get it, but
we've I mean, I don't really want to go down this path too long, but we've always encountered some level of resistance from the outside. So it is what it is, is it because they don't understand what we're doing? Is it because they can't do what we're doing? Is it because they wish
they don't like what we're doing?
They don't like what we're doing. They wish they could do what we're doing. Like they could do it, but they can't because they put themselves in a position. I don't know what the deal is, and I don't care.
Or they just don't care what we're doing.
Well, if they didn't
many
care,
options.
If they didn't care, then they wouldn't hate. But it doesn't matter because we're going to continue to do what we believe is right, and it hasn't failed us yet. So
I've always enjoyed the mixes. I think of all of them, of all of your guys, I enjoyed the Ditch Friday, the Palms.
I always hear this.
Yeah.
I hear this all the time. And man, you know how much resistance we got to that when we put it out.
Yeah, it's most everyone's favorite, and it's probably because it is a mixtape in its purest form with songs that you can listen to anytime, anywhere, driving in the car, cleaning the house.
Timeless. Yeah,
yeah. It's not even about the era of the songs. It's just like there's nothing overwhelming. There's no like noisy drops or big thing or whatever's happening. Every song just kind of moves and keeps it going, and you can just kind of do your thing and clean the house or wash the dog or whatever you're doing. And I think that's why everyone enjoys that one a great deal. Also, probably why people are enjoying the Yacht Rock ones as well, because it sort of falls under the same category of there's nothing overwhelming about the mix. It's just good, solid music that I can listen to and not have to worry about being startled.
Summer vibes. It's the best way to put it. We get so many people that keep wanting to just play a vibe at a lot of these venues or Sunday days. They just want something you put on, and it's like you're saying, it's not going to take over the whole thing. They can still talk, but like enjoy the vibe.
Yeah, it's not something that will overtake your existence.
It's overtaking my existence at the moment, though. as we try and get these mixes,
the production of them is overwhelming. Yes.
So will you be releasing will it be like one person a week, and then that plays multiple times?
So there's a schedule, and each week we'll have the guest DJ, which we will announce prior to the weekend that it will air. And if you have the Sirius XM app and go onto the Yacht Rock channel 15, there should be a pivot there for you for on demand. So as soon as the episode airs, and again, each week it airs multiple times that weekend, so people can enjoy it. But as soon as it drops, you can just go on demand, and you can listen to it at your leisure until after the season's over, and then we'll host them on Mixcloud again. But you definitely on demand's the best way. Unless you want to tune into the schedule again, I think it airs a couple times on the Friday of the week, then the Saturday and the Sunday, and then we'll see what how Sirius lays it out. But on demand, you can always tap into it.
I just got an email, and it says it's from Mixcloud, and it says Fuse Mania is now following you.
I wasn't. I can't believe I was missing out.
So now we already got one new fan from doing this podcast.
Yeah. That's me.
I love that it's on demand, and I'm bummed that it goes away after the summer. But I like that the Sirius has like implemented that, because the amount of time you guys are putting into it, at least they're showing the love for that, and you can do that.
I think on the app, I think it lives in perpetuity. I think it lives forever.
Okay.
But the channel itself, if you're listening to it in a car, and not all cars, or on like hardware, I guess most people have like hardware, like a radio that they plug into a speaker or something. That's when it gets cut off. But in my car, for some reason, on channel 311, it runs all year long. So it's seasonal on 15 on most devices, and then I think the app it runs all year long. The mixes are there all year long, and then on some devices. This is what was explained to me, and I'll check right now. Actually,
I think it's different tier membership. Like, I think if you have like a fully unlocked Sirius XM, you get all those channels, like the later channels. And if you only have like a budget Sirius XM membership, you only get like the first 100 channels.
Yeah, there's like tons of channels, like deep hundreds, and I never, as a longtime stockholder of Sirius XM, I do not understand the technology.
Yeah, right now, Yacht Rock looks like Yacht Rock Radio on channel 15 is live. Yeah, we got Al Wilson on channel 15. But then there's Yacht Rock Deep Cuts, and if I search Club Yacht Rock here, Club Yacht Rock, then what should come up is Club Yacht Rock with all of the mixes. Right
from last season.
From last season.
There it is.
Yeah. So, yeah, if you have the app, you can listen to everything.
I'm excited for that. I'm excited to hear everybody, all the DJs you mentioned, their takes on it all. It'll be a fun little thing. I miss like the Power 106 mixes with all the different DJs, and like all the emphasis on putting out good DJ mixes. I miss that.
That was so
the
fun. And
Merry Days of Mixmas.
Yeah, Merry Days of Mixmas. I wish that more of that happened, because we were getting real wild at Power 106. Musically, I'm pretty sure I was drinking. I think everyone was drinking. It was a lot of fun.
I don't remember exactly how that played out, but
I think
from what I can gather, there's like a small window of time where the ratings aren't being tracked or something of this nature. So that's why they started doing that. And so they had done it the year prior to us doing it, with just AM had come in and done it. And the following year, they brought in 8 different DJs to do it. And we really were pushing the limits. And I think the phone calls coming in, half of them were saying, I can't believe this is happening. This is amazing. And the other half was like, what the hell's going on over there?
Why she wants revenge and Van Morrison playing on Power 106?
Yeah, like Neil Diamond, like 9 Inch Nails, all wild stuff. But yeah, that was a lot of fun. I mean, this is goes back to like a real creative time, and I think we're moving into that era again. And it probably has to do with a lot of different elements, but most in the forefront is probably people's accessibility to music, right? You can listen to whatever you want, as many times as you want, whenever you want, and that wasn't always the case. See, Stone got mad at this and he left. So right now I think it's like the idea of open format, for instance. It's truly moved into a pure definition of it at this moment, and people are open to hearing different stuff.
I hope, because I just had like the worst gig of my life on Saturday. I feel like it was like the worst gig I've played in a long time, and that I felt like I couldn't connect with anybody, and that everybody sucked. And
that's going to happen really too, I mean, that's part of the gig. You got to take your knocks, but
it was,
as long as you're making the effort, as long as you're making the effort, you can't be faulted for this.
I feel like we're in this weird period with music where, like you mentioned, there's so much accessibility, but like, when you're in a place where there's 300 or 400 people, everybody has their own idea of what should be happening. And instead of just sitting the fuck back and relaxing, people want to try to control like what that idea is. And, obviously we all play a lot still. And there's great nights. There's really great nights still that like, we're like, wow, I did play pretty open format tonight and played a lot of stuff that I liked and a lot of stuff that people liked. And then, the Saturday was the opposite of that, where it was like I was just getting bombarded by people and like couldn't keep it together like cohesively for the room.
There's this idea that people have control over their environment when they're on their own terms, right? Music. They don't like the song, they swipe to the next song. Swipe to the next song. They get tired of a song, they swipe to the next song. Now imagine not having control of that, being in an environment where you're not in control of that, and you might not even be aware of why you're disturbed at the moment. It's because you're not in control of it. Now, if people could just take a step back and realize that, in 60 seconds, 90 seconds, another song is going to come on,
Right.
and maybe they like that one better, we'd all be better off. But, this goes back to, the very
I only mentioned
idea of
this.
what DJing is,
I mentioned this because I like being real on here. And one of the things that Drew and I try to do on here is like really stay true to ourselves. And with you guys being on here, I feel like you guys have done a really good job of always staying true to yourselves and your brand. So maybe just you can even talk about that and kind of where it's led you to today.
Listen, don't get me wrong. You put me in a room where I have a job to do, I'm gonna go do it, even if I don't like the music. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm hired to go do a thing. I'm hired to get people off. So I'm not the guy who's gonna be like, if you don't like this, you suck.
Right.
Because that's not what I'm there for. We provide a good time, an intangible product. It's a memory. It's really only relevant till the next good memory, right? So you want to make sure everybody leaves there having the best time possible by what you provide. And, that being said, if someone comes up to me and says, that was amazing, in my head, I'm like, well, what is your context? And if someone comes up to me and says, I had a horrible night, you're the worst DJ ever, in my head again, what's your context? I can't take any of this stuff to heart. All you can hope is that they have a good time and not a bad time.
Right. But what I'm getting at too is like I feel like you do a good job like branding. Obviously you guys have always done a good job with like branding and all that. But Graham, I know you still play a lot, but you do a good job of like balancing the work aspect of DJing with like the fun and like the stuff that you like aspect of DJing.
It's supposed to be fun. Remember? It's supposed to be fun. But something that Stone and I have always kind of like attached ourselves to is that you're doing this job, you're playing other people's music, you need to insert some of your personality into what you're doing. It can't just be this thing where you're playing these records or whatever. What's the point, right? So even with the branding, we're inserting our personality into how we're presented, right? So when there's a whole era, and no disrespect to anybody here, but a whole era of everybody's promo photos, like I'm holding a record, I have the headphones on, I'm sitting on the record crate. It doesn't say anything. It just says that you're a disc jockey. So instead, maybe, find what it is that is part of your identity and choose branding or presentation based upon these things. You know what I'm saying? And we've always really done that. I think we would be bored to death if we just went like a more traditional route.
Well, I definitely wouldn't have been DJing for as long as I've been DJing. That's for sure.
Right.
It's like, let me just do the same thing everyone else is doing, snore.
I
to do that.
I think I heard one of you on a podcast or something. I can't remember exactly where I saw it, but yours basically said, these mixes is what you do. You don't own the music. You don't own the rights to the music. It's none of this. It's like the mixes are what you're giving to it. It's how you put it together. That's really.
It was me. It was on Jimmy Fallon. What I was saying was, the only intellectual property that we possess as DJs it would be the unique way that we play songs, whatever the order is. So like if you have a mix that you do with, I don't know, Beyonce, Crazy in Love, and whatever the next song is, and it's very unique and it's something that works very well, that's yours. You own that. Technically you don't own that, and anyone can do it. And believe you me, plenty of people have stolen plenty of mixes that I've done.
It's funny you mentioned that, because Drew has a Crazy in Love that he goes into Tarzan Boy, and it's his calling.
Well, there you go. So, and that's really the only intellectual property that we have as guys that just play records. If you're producing music, I mean, you're entering a whole different zone. But as guys who just play music, that's the only thing that we own, and is our identity. The story I like to tell, and it's how AM and I became friends 150,000 years ago. I was DJing in LA somewhere, and this girl came up to me and was like, "Hey, can you play?" God, what was the song? It was 𝐬𝐿𝐫𝐿𝐿, "What I Am," and I don't remember what the mix was after, but this was a mix that AM did. So I played 𝐬𝐿𝐫𝐿𝐿, and then she was like, "Can you play this other song next?" And I go, "No." And she's like, "Why?" I go, "Well, this other guy does it." And we weren't friends. And she was like, "Well, just play it. I like to hear it." I go, "No, that other guy does it. I'm going to do something else." Yeah. And it was a very specific thing. It wasn't just like mixing two songs, like one of his mixes, one of his signature mixes. So then she went and complained to him and was like, "Hey, do you know this guy StoneRokk?" And he was like, "No." Like, "Well, fuck him." And he was like, "Well, why?" And she tells him the story about how she asked me to play his mix, and I said no because that was his mix. And he was like, "Cool, I want to meet that guy," or whatever, however it went down. And then we became friendly based on that. Like, that's how we became friends, was me telling someone, I'm not going to do someone else's mix. And that should be what happened anytime someone even thought about doing a mix, but that's not what always happened. So yeah, it is what it is, you know. Mixes.
It would be hard to
police it, but I definitely tried a few times.
What a waste of time.
That would be a waste of time.
A waste of time.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, well, it was also a different time. It was also a very different time. And that stuff kind of mattered. Now I don't even think anyone's really putting any thought into what they're doing. I think most people are just playing the songs.
No, but you know what? I see online, some online chatter or commentary where, you know, people playing someone's bootlegs or mix or whatever, and then everybody's saying that was amazing, but the credit's not going to whoever made that bootleg. Right? I've seen people discuss this. So I mean, it still exists. It just doesn't matter that much anymore. What are you going to get from it by, you know, making a stink over these things? When the DJ community was way more insulated, that, you know, people could get checked, but nowadays,
well, I mean, also
there's just no way to do it,
good,
you know?
DJ and being creative is not very high on the list of priorities to things that get you hired. So having those mixes and protecting those mixes does not matter at all.
What if you, let's say, we've already kind of talked about this, and I know we've all talked about it. In a world full of copycats that the DJ industry kind of is, people just like to latch on to, if there's some sort of success, you know, somebody's having, people like to latch on to that and then try to like ride it out. If you guys were starting out now as younger DJs, what would you what do you think the angle, or like even moving forward?
Call me.
Stone.
I would not DJ. I would go to college. I'd go to medical school. I'd become a lawyer. That's the correct answer. It's the only answer.
I get asked this question a lot. I mean, I just had this discussion with with somebody who said their kid was getting into it, and for our
Mhm.
peer group, we come from a time where the reputation provided the work or the opportunities to work. And that still exists. There's a reason why when a new club opens, they're calling upon seasoned vets to come in and do the work, because there's not a whole lot of babysitting that has to get done. They kind of tell you what needs to happen, and they know that you can go in there and execute. And that's a risk with up and coming DJs, which is why, like if a 21-year-old asked me right now, like, why are you the DJ here? And I say, well, when there's a 21-year-old who understands all the components required to get the night off, then we can all retire. Right. And that's not to say there's not a 21-year-old that isn't capable of doing this. There probably is. I'm just saying overall, there's a lot of focus on things that don't necessarily play into the craft of DJing. And when I say craft of DJ, I'm talking about vast musical knowledge, the ability to pivot and deal with any situation, and then an understanding of mob mentality, crowd control, because that's really what the focus of the job is. So when those things kind of take a back seat to like, well, this guy's like an Instagram guy, he's got 1 million followers, people will show up for that. They will show up. And I've seen it tons of times with plenty of personalities, and I got no problem with that part of the nightlife business, right? There's a space for it. But there's also the flip side of that, which is having the ringer on deck. So once the novelty is worn off of like this celebrity comes in, you got to put the grinder in to like carry the night out, because they got to keep generating money. And this stretches back decades now. I mean, it's not a new thing that you'd have a quote unquote celebrity DJ come in, and then you've got the resident on standby that gets pushed in by the assistant GM as soon as the room's waning. This continues. This is a constant thing. So to circle back to your question, yeah, there's a whole lot of other elements besides the craft part of DJing that you got to focus on now. You got to have an online presence, probably producing. I mean, if you made a song, whether it's a bootleg or original, that gets legs, you can eat off that for 5 years. You see it happen all the time, right? No one has to even have a follow-up. But I would say the way you separate, for lack of a better phrase, the men from the boys is to have those other components where, the operators won't hesitate to keep you on because they know you know how to do a room. So there's a whole lot to digest there, but that's what I would, in addition to don't DJ, like Stone says, being the advice. If you really want to do it, learn how to produce, learn what works, how to work a crowd, and, don't be a dick. That's one of the main things. The more accommodating you are, the easier you are to work with, the more you're going to get called back, because nobody who works in the infrastructure of a nightclub wants to get yelled at on Tuesday morning at the staff meeting for bringing you in. They want it to be a non-issue. So this is what you should strive for.
It's funny you mentioned like the crowd control part, because I just had a conversation with like a young security guy at my Friday night spot. He was like, I just don't understand, like sometimes like blah, blah, blah. And I was like explaining to him that, like the whole bar getting destroyed every night isn't always, the best thing for business, and crowd control is more important sometimes than, playing a party that's at a level 10, or as Drew likes to say, at a level 11 from start to end. But I don't think a lot of young guys understand that there's like a whole there's like the DJ where like you go in and you're just like, I just want to just do me the entire time. And then there's the person that's like,
right,
no, I'm going to be a team player here with the venue. And
unless you're a hard ticket sell, right? Someone's paying money for a ticket to come see you specifically because, you're Calvin Harris or whatever. The most important thing to understand as an up and coming DJ is it's not about you. It's about the party. It's about the event. It's about the environment. And the sooner you can figure that out, the more successful it's going to be, and the more you're going to work, because you can't make it about you. Like, we're just in an age where everybody's convinced their opinion matters. So like, there's a ton of people like, let me foist upon you my music taste. It's just not what that's
Yeah.
not the gig, right? I mean, it's the gig for some, but again, those are hard ticket sales, right? People are going to see someone specifically, but just for the average nightlife venue where people come into that venue and want to hear a good DJ kind of hit all their marks. You got to realize it's about that. It's about that party. It's about the environment. It's about making sure everybody gets a taste,
For
Get a
sure, for
taste.
sure.
Get a taste.
Get a taste.
Yeah, let me wet my
well,
beak.
we like to just mention a couple songs if you guys can, since we are doing Yacht Rock, and maybe we could just throw out some of your favorites that are on these mixes. Someone people can look forward to or to look up if they don't know.
I mean, there's obvious ones, which are great. I mentioned "What a Fool Believes" by the Doobie Brothers, right? And of course, some Christopher Cross songs, like "Ride Like the Wind" and "Sailing." And we like to do, like I said, the yacht rock adjacent songs. So we had actually done an article years ago where we did this exact same thing. Put like Carly Simon Y in there. But I mean, take your pick of Steely Dan stuff, FM, Hey 19, Deacon Blues,
Yeah.
Peg, Do It Again. There's Fleetwood Mac songs. I mean, it's endless. The amount of music that falls into the, a category that was made after the fact, And there's pivot, like we've talked before, me and Stone. Then there's like subgenres of this, like Easy Glide and City Pop, which lesser known artists, but they've encompassed the stylings, right?
Yeah, we were looking. Actually, I'm curious. I mentioned that Chris Norman song, and then you guys brought up a list. Like, what is like that Y2 song? Like, that just means it's in current rotation, or it's like a heavy rotation.
We
Oh,
can't
okay. Well,
share that information. No, it's basically the short version would be that as far as Yacht Rock Radio's programming, a Y1, for instance, would be a song like "What a Fool Believes" that gets played a lot. But you don't want any channel that just plays the obvious stuff all the time. So they have other categories, and they have other channels too. There's Yacht Rock Deep Cuts, which I thoroughly enjoy because you don't hear any of the obvious stuff. And they launched Yacht Soul, which is records of Bill Withers, George Benson, songs that have that aesthetic. And this year we were told that when the Yacht Soul channel launches, our buddy Al Roker will be hosting a show.
Al Roker of Yacht Rock fame.
But I mean, it's not to say that not to even like those are songs that we also implement into Club Yacht Rock. We've played George Benson on our show and Bill Withers.
Are there it's and this doesn't have to pertain to necessarily yacht rock, but I'm just curious, is there any new music that you guys are into? And this doesn't have to be like pop like music. Is there anything?
Oh, well, I mean, like I said, there's artists who are obviously influenced. So Thundercat, for instance, did a song with Michael McDonald and Kenny Loggins, and it's a great jam. And then there's a band called Poolside, which, I listen to their stuff and I go, this is that same aesthetic. And then, Stone, what's this other one we were just talking about? Silver Fox.
I sent it to you,
what
right?
was it? Yeah, and then I Jay Boogie had hit me to it. What's the name of that group?
Please
though?
hold.
They're right on.
Please hold.
Right on it.
Please hold. Please hold.
We're not yet in that era where we get to implement these things in our mixes. All we can do is have an appreciation of it. Though I do play a lot of Poolside. When I work in that environment, like the outdoors, like the bungalow, for instance, like that would be, poolside. Stone, do you not have it on deck here? What's
trying
the
to
matter
think.
with you?
Well, Poolside did do that Harvest
I'm gonna
Moon.
look
They
right
kind
now.
of redid, right?
Oh yeah, that was a
Yeah,
cool one.
no
Yeah,
doubt.
that's a cool one.
But that one also isn't that one? It sounds like
The
La
Pamplemousse.
Pamplemousse.
Oh yeah,
You ever notice that?
yeah.
Right, the bass line. Hold on, we have to
Because
figure
you
out
want to
what
give
this
them
is
shine.
now. Well, I mean, well, now I'm just like obsessed with,
I want to
Solving the
know.
puzzle.
I want to know.
come on, Silver
Young Gun
Fox.
Silver Fox.
Is it? Is that what it is?
It's
But
Young
it's
Gun
like
Silver
two names.
Fox.
It's like
Yeah.
Young Gun Silver Fox.
Yeah,
See, now I
Young
don't
Gun
have to
Silver
sit there and
Fox.
like banging my head later, going like, "Why
Sounds
can't
like
I
a-
come up with this?"
Double negative.
I run my Spotify just like in like AI mode, DJX, where it just auto populates songs, and this song comes up. It was called "Winners," I think it was, and I'm like, oh my god, this! I took a screenshot of it, and I just wrote on the screenshot like Yacht Rock. So like, make a mental note, like this is clearly a Yacht Rock song from the '70s. Like, there's no way it's not.
Yeah.
So then I do a little digging, and it's like the song came out in like 2022 or whatever, whenever it came out. And I sent it to Graham. I go, what do you know about this? He's like, I'm familiar with this. It's like, so yeah, there are contemporary bands that are doing this, but again, they're not making yacht rock. They're making songs, and it just so happens to have
Fit in that vibe. Yeah,
have
Well, they're influenced by
they-
that aesthetic.
yeah.
You know, they're attracted to that aesthetic. But there's also a ton of yacht rock cover bands which are widely
Yeah.
popular. There's the Yacht Rock Review. There is
Yeah, they had Yacht
Crew.
Rock
There
review
is
at
Yachty
the
by
ballpark
Nature.
here this
There
past
is
year.
the Docksiders. There's a bunch of them. And well, Yacht Rock Review, I saw them in concert years and years ago, and I was like, wow, this is crazy. But not just that they were doing yacht rock songs, but they actually brought up a couple of guest acts from the genre. They brought up the guys from
That's some
Player,
LA shit. That didn't
or
happen.
a guy
here in
from
Cincy.
Player, and they well, I mean, depends on who's in Cincy. And then Al Stewart, you know, did You're the Cat with them. And I don't know how frequently this happens, but I do know that some of these groups have residencies in Las Vegas. I do know that some of them can sell out huge venues here in LA. And I think the appeal is that you're getting to see this song live that you probably would never get the opportunity to ever see live. But also because a lot of those songs that's the one standout song from someone's catalog. You don't have to sit through an entire concert of their stuff that you might not be as interested in. You get to see one band do boom, 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 all hits, and you're seeing it live. And again, that's not to disparage someone's catalog at all. But if one of your songs, because if you take an artist, not all of his catalog might be yacht rock songs. It might just be this one song. Even if you listen to, you know, Jackson Browne records or Toto records, or even Hall & Oates records, right? Not every song has that yacht rock sheen to it. You know, just you got to pick and choose. You know, we went deep down the rabbit hole for Hall & Oates to see what we could implement that would be cool. And a lot of this stuff sounds like, you know, 80s pop records, which is what they were essentially, right? Even though they're fantastic musicians and I revere them and I've seen them in concert many, many times. Though I guess when we're not seeing them in concert again, they don't like
that's
each
what
other,
I've heard.
apparently. And then you can only see one or the other, which is a bummer. But yeah, I think I've seen them maybe 5 or 6 times.
But maybe they'll be like Oasis and they'll reunite.
If the money's right, they're headlining Coachella in a couple years.
I'll go see it. But yeah, going down and listening to every song on every album, there was only a few that, you know, we would consider to put on the yacht rock mix, or just because you know, they were like a rock band in the 80s. So it sounds, you know, a lot of stuff sounds like 80s rock music. Same with Toto, you know. A lot of the songs are like, they're heavier even. than like that smooth sound of that you would associate with
Yeah.
yacht
The
rock.
crazy thing I think about it all is obviously too, circling back around to like the documentary on HBO, was that a lot of the guys were like studio musicians for each other. Like this guy sat in on this guy's track and this guy sat in on this and this and this. And, you know,
Those, the Toto guys were all over
Yeah.
Michael Jackson's
Mhm.
Thriller.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, again, even the Steely Dan stuff. If you go look at those albums, they were not just bringing in the best of the best that were available, but then they were pitting them against each other, bringing multiple guitarists to do the guitar solo and only choose one. Imagine this. But again, I think that is why after the fact they're like, wait, you're doing what with what? They don't want to be
Right.
yeah, in this can't be category when they're very serious and accomplished musicians. I mean, go on YouTube and you can look up Donald Fagen like sitting with a music theory teacher talking about the composition of the songs in a language that I don't, and I can play instruments. I know music theory. I can't understand some of the stuff they're even talking about. I mean, they're way above my head. So when you have a music genius like Donald Fagen, and then you're like, but I want to wear this captain's hat, and listen to your music. I get it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Definitely. Are you guys have any other show events coming up or anything that you're doing together?
It's a great question. I think just like last summer, as soon as the show dropped, then the phone calls
Right.
started coming in. We've got some things penciled in that are exciting, but until those are confirmed, we shan't say a thing. But yeah, last summer, as soon as the first episode dropped, we started going out and doing the
Yeah.
Club Yacht Rock stuff.
And then Drew wanted me to ask before I forget, are you guys still wearing Sperry's?
Yeah, I just
What?
was wearing some this morning to walk the
No,
dog.
it was
What are you
more
talking
about the collab we were going to talk about, but it's all
I
good.
know.
That was
Man,
that was a great experience, and I don't know what's going on over there, and I wish that we can extend our business with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were wearing them before we were getting any
Right.
type of look from them. You know what I'm saying? Like those were, I mean, initially, other than like, the style of them, they were easy to get on and off going
Right.
through TSA at a time when we were going through TSA
Right.
a lot. You just slip them right on. But yeah, later we connected with them and did some work with them. And yeah, I think what you're mentioning is the proposed
Yeah.
collab, which did not come to fruition. Stone, I like to say we didn't try to do something. It
I
just
like
hasn't
that.
happened yet.
I like that. That's my new motto moving forward. It's one of my big takeaway.
You want to try and fail. It just hasn't happened yet. Just like the Club Yacht Rock show. We tried to get this off for a few years before it actually came to
Yeah.
fruition. But in the back of my head, I always knew like sooner or later this
Yeah.
would happen.
I'm happy for it.
And Stone knows I'm a realist. I'm not an optimist or a pessimist. I'm
Mhm.
just a realist. So he's probably surprised to hear me say I knew this was going to happen.
Yeah, that's for sure. Graham's always, well, maybe not. Maybe it's not going to happen. Who says it's going to happen?
I'm always waiting for the other shoe to drop. I'm always waiting for the other Sperry to drop.
Well, I'm super hyped for it. Yeah, I guess if you guys want to just say where to find them and recap anything.
The best place to tap in with what is upcoming from us and to see the schedule for Club Yacht Rock, because we will be announcing week by week who the guest DJ is. Go to our Instagram. That is Stone. You want to spell
it's
it?
at this thing. 𝐃𝐨𝐲𝐵𝐿𝐿.
You mean ampersand? No, that's not an ampersand. What is this?
I think
What is
actually
the
it is
at
an
symbol called?
ampersand.
No, the ampersand is like an and sign.
Ampersand. Oh, you're right. It is an and. Let's Google it. What is this symbol called? And give them the at. And that is called
We're giving education out for
It's
free over
called
here.
the
High
at,
level.
it's called the @ sign. It is an
Okay.
accounting and
At sign.
invoice abbreviating, meaning at the rate of. So, example, 7 widgets at $2 per widget equals $14.
I'm curious how it got commandeered by social media across the board.
They probably needed
who made
a
that
symbol
decision?
that isn't frequently used.
Well,
It's
why
probably
not
a coding
ampersand?
thing.
Because that's
It probably
frequently
is
used.
a coding thing.
It pretty much started on Twitter, wouldn't you say? Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Social media adopted it for some reason, and now it's like that is just how
Yeah.
everything is, right? It's got an @ symbol. That being said, at the caps at 𝐃𝐸𝐶APTS.
I love it. You even got your Yacht Rock voice just right there.
It comes with years and years of humming to myself at home to groom my timber.
Well, it was this was awesome. Thanks for
Wait,
being on.
Yeah.
Are we going to talk about butt mites or no?
Well, we can.
I don't want to. I'm gonna log off if that's the case. You need to get on that WebMD Zoom call or whatever.
WebMD Zoom call. Okay. Okay.
Showing your butt mites off around on a webcam.
Yeah, that's called telemedicine is what that's called. Here, come look at my butt mites.
Yeah, I feel like my Amazon Prime keeps trying to make me use them. Like, hey, what is this? Or what's happening? Why is
It's
my
trying to
nose
make you
stuffed up?
use butt mites?
No, I don't use them for anything.
No,
I'm just saying, like, whatever it is, internet medicine, whatever you just say, whatever
telemedicine.
terminology.
I think
feel like that's
Amazon.
the
I think Amazon's doing
telemedicine
telemedicine now, so maybe I'll be able to resolve my butt mites through my Prime account.
Yeah, also send cookies.
Speaking of accounts, we do have to shout out Direct Music Service. It's part of the sponsor for the show.
Oh,
and
for sure. There's many. You know what? There is Yacht Rock edits up on there that I use in my work. There's some very efficient Yacht Rock edits up on DMS.
perfect. And if you use the promo code Drew and Few Show, it'll get you 30% off your first month if you try it out.
And if you use
And maybe some
if you use
butt
the
mites.
promo code the caps, then they'll upcharge you 30%. So choose wisely.
Well, denied access.
No, but if you guys got anything else,
Mites.
or is that it? Is that all we're here for today?
No, I mean that was that went by pretty quick. That's short and sweet. We just want to push Club Yacht Rock on Sirius XM, channel 15, starting Memorial Day weekend and moving throughout the summer. It's the soundtrack for your barbecue, for being on a boat, for being in the backyard, for being outside. Anything of this nature.
I think you got me to actually sign up. I've been wanting to, find a new music thing that I could just put on, let roll. So yeah, I think I'm going to sign up. Check out Sirius.
Yeah, and I think they run some pretty good promos over the summer too, right? It generally happens. So
Yeah.
If you do want to sign up, maybe wait till just before Memorial Day weekend, and you might get hooked up. And if you
Or pay now,
pay now, so Graham can make some money. Yeah,
got that Sirius stock. Like, let's get these dividends.
You guys,
rolling,
you guys need a
pay now.
you need
pay the
you need a promo code, or maybe that's to come.
That's not a bad idea, but that's.
I'm happy to get the support that we get from them currently.
Right.
There you go. Yeah, like let's not let that go ignored. To point people over at Yacht Rock Radio. I mean, they know their stuff. It's they work in tandem with us, and the only reason I'm not mentioning anybody's name is because last year, what? Not
I'm pointing at the person you're about to talk about. Oh, I know.
Well, there's
I
not
know,
just one person, but there was there was a lot of people that were like, "Oh, how do I get my mix
Yeah.
on this?" Right? And I don't want to shoulder anybody with that type of extra workload. But suffice to say, the people that we work with over at Yacht Rock Radio, they're solid. And let me shout out
Exactly.
Phenom,
That's exactly what I was about to say.
as well, who connected. He was the PD at Globalization. He connected a
Right.
lot of dots for us.
Phenom
make
with
that
vowels,
happen.
not Phenom without vowels, who's now known as Velvet Haas.
Right.
Yeah, so shout out to Phenom.
Yeah. Shout out to Phenom.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
What
Cool. That's
Now that we've done our thank yous.
Well, I'm signing up, so I'm excited. I'm hyped for the on-demand thing. That's cool. That everyone will get their money and their flowers for it, because finding mixes online is, not what it used to be. So it's cool.
Yeah. Well, we'll be there, and if we're not there, we'll be on our Mixcloud at some point.
perfect. All right. Well, I think that's going to wrap it up for
Well,
today. So until next time, we'll see you guys later.
Cool.
Okay, bye-bye.
yes, thank you guys.
Peace.
See ya.
Bye.
Peace.